Good morning. Happy Saturday, May 18th. Kimberly Perot here, and welcome to Wasatch Weekends. On today's episode, we are having all kinds of conversations from survival in the elements to mindset coaching, and plus Josh, our furry friends with Nuzzles & Co. So all of that is happening. Buckle up, get ready, here we go. Now, we are privileged to be living here in the United States, but did you know that 2 million Americans don't have access to clean drinking water? Ross had a conversation with an expert around this subject, so let's take a look.
We sure do love water, whether we're rehydrating from all the activities we do or we're playing in it out on the rivers. But the value of water is very important to us. And joining us now, we have Christy with the Value of Water campaign. Thanks for joining us, Christy.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So what's going on? How's the Value of Water campaign going, and what's it all about?
So the Value of Water campaign is a broad group of water advocates from across the sector who really joined together to speak with a unified voice to try and build public awareness around water and political will to invest more in water. And the Value of Water campaign puts out an annual national poll to track voter outlooks on water issues. And this year, that poll gave us some pretty interesting information about how important voters find water in their lives.
And can you tell us a little bit about what you found with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So 88% of voters across the country, across all parties, named access to reliable and safe water as a top 3 voter issue, right alongside reducing inflation and building a stronger economy. So that really speaks to, I think, how much Americans value water. In addition to that, 65% of all voters said that they would support more investment at a federal level in water, and 63% said that they would support an elected official who advocates for water.
Yeah, and that's kind of the next kind of battle here is water, and especially here in Colorado with the Colorado River and the rights to that water. What's kind of next? What can people do to get involved here?
So really, it comes down to what's a viable future for our country. If we would like to have healthy communities, if we'd like to have a thriving national economy, if we'd like to protect jobs, the only option is to continue investing in water in the way that we have been since Congress passed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in 2021. And so the way to continue that trend and to ensure that we continue investing in water is by being a voice in support of water and voting for water, supporting elected officials who are willing to invest in water.
Yeah, and what's something that people might not really understand with this topic? Obviously, it's a pretty big one, and a lot goes on with it, even across state borders. But what should people know about this topic?
You know, I think a good place to start is the fact that our nation's water infrastructure in many places is over 100 years old. And that means that it has outlived its useful life. And every time there's a water main break, that leads to a service disruption, that ultimately the cost of repairing that can get passed on to the ratepayer. That's you and I. And that leads to higher water bills and an impact on our households. So it's really a trickle-down effect. And if we invest in water, so we can start to repair our nation's infrastructure, that will yield better outcomes for households. In fact, something we found is that if we continue to invest in water over the next 10 or 20 years, American households can save $7,000 over that same period of time, which is not nothing. That's a lot of money back in our pockets.
Yeah, amazing. And when you're saying invest in water and the value of water, I mean, water is really priceless, right? What like how much are we talking? What do we need as a country here and a nation to get there?
Awesome question. So I'm going to lay some big figures on you. The water investment gap, which is the difference between how much we're spending on water and how much we need to be spending on water, is $91 billion this year in 2024. If we do not continue investing in water over the course of the next generation, that gap is going to grow to be $2.6 trillion. Huge figure, almost unimaginable.
Right.
But if we continue investing in water, we can reduce that gap by $125 billion, which would be enough to replace the entire country's lead service lines 2 times over. The impact could be real if we continue to invest.
So there's hope. There's definitely hope, it sounds like, but the time is now also, it sounds like, to really get on top of this. Where should people go for more information on the campaign here?
Sure. Find out a lot more about our poll and our recent economic report at thevalueofwater.org, or I'd encourage you to join the movement and follow us on X or on LinkedIn at the Value of Water campaign.
Amazing. Christy, anything else I should have asked you? Anything else people should know?
I think, it's critical to recognize the value of water in our everyday lives. When you wake up and you turn on the shower and water comes out, there's a lot of work and a lot of investment and a lot of labor that goes into delivering that service to your household. So don't take it for granted.
Yeah, that value is really priceless. Well, Christy, thanks so much for joining us.
Now we are diving right in with our next guest. I'm so excited because I've got the founder of Sublime Knowledge, Aaliyah Yasmin Khan, joining me here. Plus, she is also an author. So, Aaliyah, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful to be here. I love the springtime colors that you're wearing
Thank
today.
you.
We definitely need that here as we've entered into our mud season. But Aaliyah, I'm thrilled to have you here. So tell me a bit about who you are, what is Sublime Knowledge, and beyond.
So I'm Aaliyah Yasmin Khan. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. Sublime Knowledge is this vision that I had back in 2018 that I had to build this mindset coaching company. I realized that I understood certain aspects about the mind and I really wanted to make this information available to others. So clients come in, they have a goal, and we basically map the mind and show them what areas they need to work on as they're working towards that goal.
That's wonderful. So how did you realize that you had this gift and you knew how to understand how to map and work towards mindset coaching?
It really came from a few sort of inspirational ideas and going through a very difficult time in my own personal life. So I think when we go through challenging times, we have to develop coping mechanisms as to how to get past those difficult times. And that's what I was able to build for myself. And when I got through that process and I noticed that this process works very effectively for me, I test ran it on a bunch of people. And I said, okay, if it's going to work for them, then it's going to work, and it needs to be available for everybody. So we go through a process of mapping the mind at Sublime Knowledge, and we basically we take their goals, we plug it into the mapping of the mind, and then we are able to pinpoint, is it a shift in perception that needs to occur? Is it a shift in reasoning? Is it a shift in maybe a past traumatic situation that they're holding on to that's keeping them from reaching their goal? So it's just that understanding of where you're at, where you're trying to get to, and what's blocking, what those mental blocks are. And rewiring the subconscious mind is the secret to it.
It's so important, I think, in everything. And after COVID, that
gosh.
has really been a very important tool.
Yeah.
So what is mapping of the mind?
So mapping of the mind is, it looks at your mental perceptions, the way that you look at life. A lot of times we don't pay enough attention to the way that we see things, but we see things as the observer. And as the observer, this is learned behavior we learn from observing other people's lives. Sometimes that's a great thing, and sometimes it's not a great thing because we don't have the best role models. So it's analyzing it as we see it, and then understanding, is that thought going to get me to my goal? And that's one of the biggest sayings that I say to my clients. I'm like, is that thought going to get me to my goal? And it all starts with the thought.
does.
So if we can choose the thoughts correctly, then we can start to rewire, you know, in the right state of mind, in the right mindset.
Oh, I love this focus in this business because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
And so I think changing your thoughts and rewiring your thoughts really does help with that mental health. So how do you find your clients? Like, how do they find you? Tell me more.
So they can find me at sublimeknowledge.com. A lot of time it's people that have worked with me. It's word of mouth for the most part, which is kind of awesome because I love my clients and they've been long-term clients for a while now. And we've seen their progression and their changes. And that's an amazing thing to see is that, you know, it blows my mind to see that they're able to take this program and seek some type of, you know, readjustment in their mindset. And this July, we're having our retreat in Phoenix, which is going to be a ton of fun. So I'm super excited about that. And it's going to be Roberto Bugado is going to be there with me. He's also works on emotional coaching. So he's working on the emotional part of the mind. I'm working on the mindset part of the mind.
Wow.
And it's just going to be a phenomenal experience for the guests.
That's great. And so how long is the retreat? How many days?
It's 2 days. It's at the Wigwam Resort, and it's going to be a great immersive experience, and you know, just really resetting and transforming your life through that process.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, speaking of, there are so many aspects of life, and a lot of them is business. And you wrote a book called "Succeeding in Business in Any Market" with Brian Tracy. So, how did you decide to write this book with Brian Tracy?
So we connected, and Brian Tracy has changed my life in so many ways. He has a goal system. He's taught me to write it down, and writing it down is like, it's so simple, but it's the thing that most people miss. They have the ideas floating around in their mind and they don't put it to paper. And the moment that you put it to paper, you can start to understand what my goal actually is. How far away am I from it? What am I doing? Setting intentions daily to work towards the goal. It's really, you know, he's taught me those things. So I was so excited to do this project with him. He's really a genius. And the book also consists of some other co-authors that are phenomenal in the knowledge that they bring to it. It's an amazing book.
Well, that's great. And obviously this is geared towards business, but from what you're saying, it sounds like it can be geared towards anything goal ever.
Any goal, because if you're learning how to apply leadership into your life, it's not just, you know, managing that. It could be managing relationships, managing your home life. It's the same type of leadership skills that you're going to apply into every area.
It's so important. You know, I love that you mentioned writing things down. I think I am a firm believer of once I write it, I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love the idea of technology and how everything is just kind of stored in your phone or on your laptop or tablet or whatever it may be. But I think my retention is much better when I am writing it down.
It is, and it also gets the information into the subconscious when you're writing it down. So not just about, you know, like putting it into your phone, like there's a lot to the actual part of writing it, and writing it repetitiously.
You know, there is a reason when we were kids we had to write things out 5+ times.
Yes, I think about The Simpsons when Bart's writing on the board because he's like screwed up in school.
It's true, and then you remember, and it stays in your being. So I'm sure there is so much more that we could talk about, but you know, what is your passion? What is your number one goal when people come to you? How do you start from the beginning and then kind of work with them?
Get them results. That's my number one goal, is to get them results, and get them results as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Because we're always about results, and we always want to get these things accomplished quickly. Some people have huge goals, and some people, it's simple goals. It's really easy goals, but they can't seem to break the paradigm. So it's about helping them to understand how to break the paradigm and get over, you know, those humps that might be blocking them from success.
So can you give me an example of a couple of goals that you have, but without giving away who your clients are, or a generalized idea of what those goals may be?
So I've had a sales-driven business for a very large company, and they had a huge goal going into the season of last year, and I was coaching one of their executives, and we were working towards, we took the goal, we broke the goal down, we assigned the goal out to, you know, her team, and this is really applying it into business, because having them have something that they're constantly focused on gives them the drive, and also asking them, what are you going to do to achieve that goal? And it helps them in the path of thinking about, okay, I'm accountable for this, and then what do I need to do? So it's getting the creative juices going for experts that are in their field that, you know, may be challenged or could be emotionally taking on more than they need to. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's understanding how to separate yourself emotionally from that, from maybe somebody not giving you the results, but they just don't know how to give you the results. So once they're taught how to, then they know what it is that they need to do, and it becomes a lot easier for all parties involved. So I love working with companies and corporations like that, mm-hmm. because it really does help to, I mean, it's very tangible. Honestly, it's very tangible.
Yes, that's so true. That's so interesting that you say to separate the goal from the emotional aspect of it.
Yes.
You know, because the emotions will be a roller coaster throughout the process. So how do you stay on track? How do you stay focused?
Yeah.
I love that. And so it's what a great company and a great idea to really help people be productive members of society.
Yeah,
that's
it's
wonderful.
all about growth.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, Aaliyah, where can we go to follow you on social media, on your website?
Sure, my website is sublimeknowledge.com. Personally, you can find me at aliyahyasminkhan.com. And we're on Instagram, Sublime Knowledge. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find me as well. So
wonderful.
Everywhere.
Well, the author of Succeeding in Business in Any Market, Aaliyah Yasmin Khan, plus the founder of Sublime Knowledge. So wonderful to have you here on the couch.
Thank you.
Love just diving in just to the little scratching the surface of what you do, and it sounds like a really great business.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Absolutely. Now stay tuned. We've got a lot more on our show. We'll be right back after this quick break. Now, part of the lifestyle that we live here in the Valley is outdoor adventure, and that's through the winter months, through the spring months, but it is so important to be aware of the kinds of adventures that you're embarking on. According to Spot's State of Adventure survey, people say that 45% of people get their survival tips from TV and movies, and an additional 43% get their tips from social media. While that is a good source to start, it is not necessarily the end-all be-all. Joining me today to talk about safety, telling his own personal story, is a snowmobile enthusiast and survival expert, Sean Irvin. Sean, how are you this morning?
I'm well. Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely thrilled to have you here. You are hailing from Heber/Park City area, so you've got a lot of adventure under your fingertips. So let's talk a little bit about your story.
Well, basically what happened was we had a lot of snow on the evening of March 30th coming into Easter Sunday. So it was, obviously late season with, 2 feet of fresh snow, full stoke is on. So my buddy and I, Sunday morning, we left from Lake Creek parking lot, which is here in the Heber Valley that goes into the Uintas, which is all off grid. Once you get to the parking lot, your cell service almost, depending on your carrier, most don't have service right there. But when you get up the trailhead, you definitely don't have service. So it was snowing that morning lightly. We went out about 9 o'clock. We got about 22 miles out. We're up in an area called Lightning Ridge. That area is, it's a pretty steep terrain in there, and it's boondocking. Which means you're poking through trees on steep terrain and open bowl areas going uphill. And that's exactly what we were doing. About an hour into it, my buddy got stuck. We spent about 20 minutes getting him out. At that point, the snow had started coming down heavily and had some heavy winds up above 10,000 feet. So we were looking to get reoriented and get back to the trailhead to kind of get our basis back. At that point, as I was throttling down, looking for the trail, unfortunately, I hit a wind lip that was a wind lip and or a cornice, if you will, which was about 20 foot high. The snowmobile fell basically off the earth till it landed about 20 feet below on the snow. and rolled me in and rolled the sled into a tree area. Luckily, the sled let me go. At that point, I knew immediately something was wrong. I had fallen off the sled and noticed that my left leg was underneath my right leg. I could move my toes, but I couldn't feel the rest of my leg. Radioed my buddy down where I was. While he was coming around, that's at the point where you make the decision for this device. At that point, right then, knowing where we were, how far I was from the parking lot, and the severity of the situation, at that time is when I hit the spot button. At that point, my partner had come around, riding buddy had come around, came up, asked me what we should do. I said, we're not in a spot that we're going to be able to help anybody on a rescue situation. Got to get my sled out, got to get me down to the sled. We got to get out of this tree line. At that point, he used this particular device to cut down 4 12-inch aspens. Got the sled started, came back up. At that point, I told him I had hit the spot device. He noticed that my leg was off to the side, and that for him was when reality really sat in. Drugged me down to the sled and got me out to a clearing. I thought personally I needed to get further, so I was telling him to kind of try to get up the next boondocking spot. At that point, he came back down and looked at me and said, "Sean, we're not this. This isn't happening. This is where we're going to sit." A couple of minutes later, I got a text stating that they had received the spot information, had my location, and that search and rescue in Wasatch County Search and Rescue and Sheriff Department were on site at the parking lot and to stay put. And from there, it was an amazing group of humans that that came to me, and they came up over the ridge line. And at that point, you almost prayed, because you see people, especially out where we were, it was a sense of relief, even with the severity of the injury. At that point, they had 9 search and rescue guys there. Life Flight had just landed. And because of the spot device, all of this was all within 45 minutes. And that's between hitting the device, them getting to Lake Creek, and going 22 miles of boondocking to get to where I was.
Wow.
So it's just, there's a lot of factors involved. You've got a bunch of guys from Search and Rescue that have been snowmobiling that area their whole lives here in Heber.
Yeah.
And they know that terrain like the back of their hand. And that knowledge is what literally saves you in the backcountry, is the knowledge of those people.
That's amazing. So 45 minutes from the call from your spot device. It's so impressive and incredible of the technology, especially when you don't have cell service. So Sean, what advice would you give to people as they want to begin this adventure lifestyle, or are pulling information? Because as mentioned, a lot of people are turning to TikTok for adventures or Instagram, and are thinking that they're well equipped. Do you have advice that you can give?
I do. I think the main advice I would give is, it's consistency. These types of sports with the new technology and the machines, and obviously the avalanche gear and all the gear involved, it's all great. But these sports at a higher level, to get to these terrain zones, you have to have consistency. You have to have knowledge of the snowmobile, and you definitely have to have knowledge of the terrain, because conditions change immediately. In seconds, things can go from sunny to 30-mile-an-hour winds and hail. Mm-hmm. And so that those conditions can change, and you have to be prepared. And that preparedness comes with not only your knowledge, but that consistency. It's the days riding, it's knowing the terrain, and then it's also mainly, the avalanche gear, your summer camping gear. All that stuff is very important. Having a first aid kit, the axe, the saw that I just showed you, but the spot device, what that does is that adds a layer of protection that is unfounded. I would call it like having Jesus around your neck, because the spot device, 911's great. You can make a 911 call, but the 911 call, they start making decisions from a 911 dispatch. The spot device is going directly to search and rescue and the sheriff's department.
Great.
And that creates a different level of I guess what's the term I'm looking? Protection.
Absolutely.
And then getting and then quickness.
That's
It creates a higher, you're getting right to the source, right to the people that have to be to you immediately.
That's incredible. The technology with that is so impressive, where you don't have to talk to a dispatcher. They just immediately know where you are thanks to technology, and immediately send people to come save you. So Sean, where can we go for more information to get our own spot devices or to be a little better equipped?
You can go, I know, I was looking at the stuff, Sportsman's Warehouse, REI, actually have the device, but go to the Spot website. It has everything. It's really neat. There's different levels of devices, and then there's different levels of plans for the devices. So if you're a guy that's just out shredding in the winter, you can just pay for those winter months. If you're a guy that's out there 12 months, out of the year, then you get a 12-month plan. And then, for just lastly, it's the devices. There's levels of devices. The first one is one that you communicate with an SOS, and it sends out that signal and immediately responds. And then there's a higher level that allows you to not only do the SOS, but have text communication with your family and or whoever, during your trip, that where you are, which is really important. And that's why this one in particular, the Spot X is just awesome. You can text with your family while you're out on your trip, and you can track your trip with all the tools and devices they have. But I would say, lastly, I would say for the cost of what it is for the device and the service, it's priceless.
That's wonderful. Well, Sean, thank you so much for sharing your story and your knowledge. And we're really grateful that you're here to be able to share that with us. Thanks to Spot as well. So we appreciate all that you're doing and wish you best of luck in your adventures next season.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great week.
You do the same. Now stay tuned. We'll be back with more of the show right after this quick break. I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite guests, our furry friends and Josh over at Nuzzles & Co. Let's take a look at the latest pet of the week. You know what time it is. It is time for Josh and his furry friend. We've got Nuzzles & Co. joining us today to talk all things about what that's coming up this summer and a recap on their baby shower. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. So normally we see the fuzzy friend as soon as we go to camera, but it looks like I'm
He decided
assuming
to
it's a
sit
she.
down.
Who do you have with you today?
Hi. There we are. Come here. What is this? Oh, do you want to say hello to everybody? You're going to be
Oh,
shy
what a
now.
precious puppy. Now, who is joining you today?
Her name is Curry, spelled Kuri. She's about 3.5 years old. She originally came from the Navajo reservation as a puppy and was adopted out with us and went to a home. And we recently got a call from animal control up in Weber County saying they had her. And as we did some detective work, we had found out that the original adopter kind of passed her on to a friend and then passed her on to a friend. And she sort of just kind of got passed around and wasn't wanted anymore, which is really sad because I've spent the last 2 days with her and she is really, really sweet and really pretty. And I don't know why somebody gave up on her, but she's a great dog and she's ready to go back to someone's home.
Oh, you can tell that she loves affection. She just keeps giving you her paw. She's
Wow.
like, hold my hand and snuggle me.
And she knows how to sit and she knows how to shake. And she just been laying on the dog bed in my office here the last 2 days, just kind of hanging out. And occasionally she's barked when she's heard somebody knock on my door, like, hey, there's somebody here, giving me that, like, letting me know that there's someone there. But otherwise, she's just been really mellow, eager to go on walks, and just a delight to have.
She's like, oh, someone else is at the door now. We should go see who they are. Well, she
I have a
looks.
window. I have a window over here that looks down on some of the kennels below us. So she's looking down, going, "Who's cleaning down there? What's going on?"
She's also probably thinking, I'm up here and you're not, to the rest of the dogs.
Yeah.
Well, she looks like such a sweet puppy, especially just how she's been sitting there with you and offers her paw to you. So definitely seems like a sweetheart. And looks like a good dog to take out on the trails. Is she very
Yeah.
energetic? What does she like to be athletic?
So I have two res dogs from this area, and they make great trail dogs. And yesterday I took Curry out on a walk, and she was ready to run. She was like, "No, we're not doing a mellow walk. Let's do a little bit of a trail run here." So I put it into high gear, and we ran around the trails at the ranch and had a great time. And then she'd stop and sniff and kind of do that leisurely walk too. So I think she's looking for somebody who would be a good adventure buddy. Um, my two dogs actually go mountain biking with me too, so I think she could be trained to do that as well.
Oh, that's great. She looks like such a sweetheart, and she's got such pretty markings. I love the white markings on her forehead. Now, do we know what kind of dog she may be?
Coming from the res, we just say she's a mixed breed res dog.
Yeah.
I want to come up with a term that describes like the Navajo dogs because they're sort of a breed unto themselves.
Yeah.
When we've done DNA tests, adopters have, it's like 15, 16 different breeds.
Wow.
But Curry looks especially kind of that, she has that look of a Navajo res dog, the kind of brown and the white. Just the face and the ears. You look at her, and when I'm hiking on trails and I see dogs that look like her, I'm like, "Oh, res dog, right?" And people are like, "Oh yeah, how did you know?"
You're like, I'm an expert. She looks like she's got eyeliner on too. So she's such a pretty girl over there. So how did the baby shower go? Tell me all about it.
It was so much fun. We put the baby goats in our romp room, which is a center round room, with their mom. And for a donation or with an adoption, we would let people go in and cuddle with the baby goats. And they were running around, kicking their feet in the air and just having a blast. And I put chairs by the windows too, so people could just sit down and watch them. More entertaining than TV. We had 3 or 4 adoptions that day of puppies and kittens, and several donations of supplies as well as money. So it was a really wonderful day of community outreach. And I made a little bingo game for kids to do scavenger hunts, and the kids were running around like, "Can you give me a hint? Can you tell me where this is?" And it was just a lot of fun.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And Curry's such a good girl. She's just sitting there hanging out while you tell me all of the details. So what fun events do we have coming up as we move into the summer months?
So we originally had planned to be doing a 5K here shortly, and then we found out that some other places are doing 5Ks literally on the same day. So we're postponing that until September 7th. But in the meantime, we have created a network of trails around the ranch that anybody can come up here and use. So you can come hiking and check out our grounds, or grab one of our dogs and take them on a walk, which is a great way to volunteer. But our big premier event of the season is our annual gala. That is on July 27th. It will be held at the Pendry, and which was where we did it last year. It was a wonderful venue, and we had a great time. And we're in the process of kind of getting all the fun in-kind donations for silent auction items and live auction stuff. So not even sure, that's all developing as we speak right now. So more to come.
Oh, what a gorgeous venue to host the event. And so this is year 2 with the Pendry, is that right?
Year 2 at the Pendry, yeah. And yeah, I'm very excited to do it again.
That's great.
Our website on our homepage should have a link to buy tickets, sponsorships, all that fun stuff. Otherwise, if people want to connect with me about anything related to the gala, they can email josh@nuzzlesandco.org, and that's spelled nuzzlesandco.org.
Awesome. Now, Josh, would you need volunteers for the gala as well?
Yeah, we'll have a small army of volunteers checking people in, helping people with bidding on silent auction items, kind of showing people around, and then at the end of the night, picking up all the items that have been won and checking people out. We also do an opportunity drawing, and so we'll be selling tickets and kind of wandering around for that. So I think last year I had like 18 to 20 volunteers, something like that.
Wow, that's great. So lots of opportunity to volunteer, whether you want to take a dog on a walk at the ranch or just in general. So it's wonderful. I love everything that you do at Nuzzles & Co. I know I have several people in my community that have adopted from you as well and are just thrilled with their results. So Josh, we thank you for all that you're doing in the community. Is there any other details that we should be aware of as we move into to next week and beyond?
No, we've got a couple adoption events coming up, but we're sort of doing those in different areas. We're doing something at the Provo Town Center on Saturday this week, or today rather. And next Saturday, I think we're going up to Hill Air Force Base to do an adoption event. So a little bit of networking kind of outside of the Summit County area, just to kind of see what kind of adoptions we can get.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for bringing Curry to our morning. We appreciate it. She seems like such a good girl, and I hope she gets adopted shortly. And Josh, as always, you guys are doing incredible work and just creating better homes for our furry friends. We appreciate it.
We love what we do. Thanks for having us on so we can tell the world about it.
Awesome. Well, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now we've got a bit more on our show. We'll be right back after this break. Now, if you were a kid growing up, you probably participated in Boy Scouts and or Girl Scouts. Now, we have a conversation with Scouting of America where they talk about their new branding initiative. Let's take a look.
Up next, we're rolling right along. Up next, we have Kayleen Deatherage with Scouting America, which is the rebrand of Boy Scouts of America. Thanks for joining us this morning, Kayleen.
You bet. Happy to be here.
And so a lot's going on right now. Have we officially made that rebrand? What's going on with Boy Scouts of America / Scouting America?
It's a really exciting time for us, Ross. We have rebranded as Scouting America. That is to reflect our commitment to welcome and serve every youth and their families in our country. We want to make sure that each young person has the chance to build character and learn leadership through the fun, the friendship, and the adventures that we can offer in Scouting America. We're using the new name now, but it becomes official on our 115th anniversary, and that is February 8th of next year.
Awesome, exciting, it's coming up, so with this rebrand, what opportunities do young women and young girls have now with Scouting America?
We are now able to bring our girls exactly the same epic adventures and experiences, learning that we have brought to boys for 114 years. So that means things like the ability to join a troop, to hold a position of leadership in that troop, to go to summer camp, to go to local camporees, maybe even someday to go to a national jamboree, and of course the opportunity to progress through Scouting America's rank system, including the possibility perhaps of someday becoming an Eagle Scout.
That's amazing. I wish I could go back right now and do that. And what are the benefits? You talked a little bit about the opportunities there, but what are the benefits of joining this program?
You know what I see over and over again, Ross? I see young people through our outdoor classroom learning confidence, increasing their willingness to try new things and their belief in themselves that they're capable of new and exciting things. They become so much more competent, and it really helps them as they work in a unit, as they have to do things as part of a team. They learn what teamwork looks like. They learn how to lead a group of people and take the chaos that is a group of 11-year-olds and turn it into a campsite that is set up and ready to go. Those types of skills are things that a lot of us don't learn until we're older in our life. And so the opportunity to be able to lead a team, to speak in public, it's just like a catapult into their future. And it gets them ready for lives of impact and purpose so much sooner than kids that don't have that scouting experience.
Yeah, some amazing life skills going on there, and across ages, a lot of ages there. Excuse me, but it's not just the children, right? Families can get involved as well and looking for troop leaders and all sorts of stuff, but how can families get involved?
You know, thank you for asking me that, because Scouting America really is committed to providing a family experience. We want to be a place where moms and dads and sons and daughters can come together, create those lifelong memories. And we do need the parents every bit as much as we want to invite the kids. We have over 500,000 adult volunteers in our movement, and they really help us to serve every possible youth. Families that want to get involved, I encourage them to go to beascout.org. That is our website that will lead them through finding a unit in their local community, and it will kind of walk them through the process of how to get signed up and give their kids the chance to experience all that Scouting America has to offer.
That's awesome. So beascout.org to sign up or get more information. And so with such a rich history, 140 plus years, is this going to set the mark and set the trend for the next 100 plus years at Scouting America?
Boy, I sure hope so. You know, we have an incredible history, 114 years of traditions. We want to leverage those and make sure that we're here 114 years from now, serving every young person with integrity, keeping them safe and letting them have an amazing time preparing for their own futures.
Amazing, amazing. So beascout.org is a great resource. Where else can people go for more information?
They can connect into their local council, Ross. So in cities across the country, we have local scouting councils. They would also be happy to help them find a unit and get started. And of course, beascout.org is also a great place for people to launch their scouting adventures.
Awesome, awesome. Kayleen, anything I should have asked you? Anything else people should know about Scouting America?
They should simply know that we're out there having a really great time. If they want to learn and grow and adventure, create friendships that will last them a lifetime, Scouting America is the place for them, and they are most welcome to join us.
That's it. And what's kind of your last question, but what's kind of like your tip here for people to really grasp this new rebrand and to keep their eyes peeled and know what to look for?
You know, I think what really want them to see is that this is a place for every youth, and that we have got camps across this country and adventures like they can't imagine. The sooner they get involved, the sooner that they can be climbing mountains and sea kayaking and creating the character and the leadership that's going to help them to live a life of impact.
It sounds so fun. Sounds so much like a blast and a great experience for these kids, learning some really good life skills. Thanks so much, Kayleen, for joining us. Beascout.org for more information and to sign up. So check it out.
Now, I don't know about you, but I certainly rely on my Amazon Alexa every day to help me get through my day, whether it's reminders, timers, all of the above, but you can do so much more. Joining me today is technology expert Mark Saltzman to talk about how you can make your home even more smart. Mark, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Kimberly. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I hope you are doing well too. And yes, I have partnered with a few great brands today that I think will help improve your smart home experience and for your viewers too.
I love it. So smart homes, everybody is all about making the home more convenient and a better place, a better environment to live in. So let's talk about it. You know, we've got clean air, we've got lighting, we've got Amazon delivery. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I think clean air is a great place to start. It is spring. Those allergens may be annoying your viewers. They are for me. So smart air purifiers are where it's at. This is the Levoit Vital 200S. It's super powerful as it tackles pet fur, allergens, as I mentioned, like pollen, my nemesis, odors, all the stuff we don't want to breathe. It cleans a big space quickly. Plus the app gives you total control as you can check your home's air quality from anywhere. You can even set schedules, and it's super quiet. You barely know it's there. So for me, it's all about cleaner air and total convenience. I love the app. It's so intuitive. And you can find out more at levoit.com.
I know I've seen the rise of the air purifier all over the internet. So I love that that has an app that you can use to adjust the settings as necessary. So what else can we look forward to as technology advances for our homes?
Sure. Well, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you're going to want to check out Amazon Key in-garage delivery. So instead of leaving packages out in the open, making them vulnerable to those nasty porch pirates out there, they go right into your garage, which also protects them from bad weather. It works with most smart garages, so setup is a breeze. Just select in-garage delivery at checkout at Amazon.com, and the delivery driver does the rest. You can even customize when and how you use it, so you're totally in control. You can learn more at Amazon.com/try-Amazon-Key. It is free for Prime members, which is awesome.
Oh, it's free for Prime members. That's pretty great. I love the term porch pirate because it is true. So what other technology can we look at this year?
Yeah, well, speaking of protection, the Vivint smart home system is a standout here because everything works together seamlessly. It's one central hub and app that controls all your devices. So as you can see, with one tap on a phone or tablet, you can lock your doors, shut your garage, check your cameras, and lower your thermostat, all while sitting on your couch or from anywhere, really. With Vivint, you can start simple, like their Doorbell Camera Pro or maybe their smart door locks, as an example, and then add on as you go. It's a completely modular system. That's true customization that is really important to me. And you can check it out at vivint.com.
So we've talked about working our way from the outside in with the smart key and with the home security system. We've talked about the air purifying. So what other ways can we make our environment more convenient and more relaxing or tailored to what we need?
Sure. Well, a great way to end off, Kimberly, is with the Sync Outdoor Smart Plug. So now let's head outside, right? So it's perfect because it can control all sorts of things outside your home by simply using the Sync app. So we're talking patio lights, water fountains, a pool pump, or for me, controlling my smart grill from anywhere. So I'm indoors, I want to spark up my grill or my smoker, I can do that on the app. The best part is setting schedules, like having lights automatically turn on at sundown, all without lifting a finger. Plus, each socket can be controlled individually if you like, or grouped together. It's really up to you. And it's a super easy and affordable way to upgrade your outdoor and patio space. And you can find it at Lowe's stores and at Lowe's.com.
That's so cool that you can individually control these sockets and the outlets. That's really impressive technology. Well, Mark, we appreciate your knowledge and your expertise. Where can we go for more information?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me today. You can visit inthenews.tv for links and more info. And if you like my approach to breaking down geek speak into street speak, you can also find me on social media at Mark Saltzman.
Well, Mark, enjoy your day. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful innovations to make our homes a little bit easier to live in and more fun. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
As do I. Thanks so much.
Now stay tuned. We have a bit more on our show. We'll be right back after this. Well, mindset coaching, adventure survival, plus technology in the home, all of that happened and more on today's show. Thanks for joining me. I'm Kimberly Perot, and I will see you next time.